Hello. Hello, my dear sweet Horties. We can hear? Yes, we can hear. Good. Hello, welcome. Of course, to all of everybody on the website chat, what's up? We got Jade of Awesome. There's Nouvenon, Mama Mephistopheles, always challenging my ability to speak right at the top of stream. We got Mersh. Hello. What's up? Spider. Hello. Rose LaFay. What is up, everybody? And of course, the YouTube chat. Dark Canuck, Rohan, Paul Hack. We got Foxgloved. What's up? Winter Nightmare. Force Cat. We got Christy. Hello. And Kyle. What's up? Soyboy69. No, you're good, Mama Mephistopheles. It's just like, ooh, it's like doing. I don't like warm up my voice before stream, and I don't talk all day. So I probably maybe should. Cute look, thanks. This is very relaxed, and I didn't want to do anything particularly special. Do you like this? Yeah? Is it good? I also have the colored lights back. It would look like this if they were off. So they're on right now with like a weird color combination because I just felt like doing something weird today. What's up, Hellhound? Hey. Limber your tongue whilst we limber our fingers. True. Oh dear. I learned just very shortly ago that there are actually some changes happening to the monetization policies where, like, if profanity is used throughout the video, like typically the rules are if you use profanity within the first like 7 seconds of the video, you should censor it or something because that will get your video demonetized, or if there's cursing in the thumbnail or the title. And now they've changed it as of like November, I think, to like if there's cursing throughout the video, even if it's not happening within the first 7 seconds or in the title or thumbnail, you could get the whole video demonetized, and it applies retroactively. So, you know, thankfully for me, like, I don't make a huge amount of my money through AdSense. I mean, it's a chunk, but it's not like a gigantic chunk. Does it apply to chat? Well, I think it would apply to this chat, which does get censored. But I don't think that it applies to the chat over here. I'm not entirely certain, though. That's a good question. They should let you know how many swears you can get per minute or per hour. They just don't want to reveal the secrets. They'll never reveal the secrets. The secret sauce. Hey, NBJ, welcome in. Should we not use the fun sub-only emote? I mean, I don't know yet. I'm not going to say no. Not like in general, for sure. Like during live streams, whatever. If maybe we might put a stop to it during segments, but I'm not totally sure. And there's no way to like make it obvious that I'm doing a segment. NBJ, we're talking about some changes to the YouTube monetization policies where they're being a lot more stringent about cursing, apparently. So a little bit annoying, but like I was saying, most of my revenue is not from ads on YouTube. And if you're worried about your favorite content creators getting demonetized, if you can afford it, you actually should maybe go ahead and consider getting YouTube Premium, because YouTube Premium like allows us to still get paid even if our content is demonetized. Like, it can't stop the fact that we may not be favored in the algorithm, especially if that content gets age restricted, because that's the additional thing, is that content with too much adult content, which now includes cursing throughout a video, could be age restricted, which means that they no longer show up in search. And yeah, it applies retroactively. So I guess if they have improved the options in the back end for editing, then maybe. But like, you can't have a video reviewed twice for age restricted content. Like, if your content has been manually reviewed for an age restriction, they won't do it again, which is stupid. must have hired some Republicans at Google and YouTube. I'm sure that they're worried about losing ad revenue. That's what the fucking problem is. Every time they tighten the restrictions on the content that you have access to, it's always something about like they can't maintain their monetization with the current whatever. I need to grab water. I think that I did pour myself a cup of water, but I might need to do that. So you should also get a refreshment. I'm sorry for doing this so early in the stream, but my throat is already dry. Okay. Did you miss me? I didn't go far. Oh my gosh. I don't see any donate button on YouTube chat. Oh yeah, no, I turned that off because YouTube takes like at least 30% of your money, as opposed to if you donate directly through PayPal or through my website. First of all, there's cooler emojis over here on the website, and it only takes as much as PayPal takes. So it's like just the processing fees instead of 30% of your money. I have that way to protect you. And in fact, I'm considering canceling the memberships on there as well. Like the join my channel membership thing, because again, it takes 30% of your money, which just seems excessive to me. Why does it seem like YouTube wants to completely sanitize every single video? Do advertisers not understand that content can appeal to adults? Do they not themselves ever watch a movie or TV with cursing? It is such an unrealistic view of the world that doesn't even make monetary sense. Lots of kids watch YouTube, sure, but so do lots of adults. Yeah, like I always feel like it's a little bit draconian. Sometimes it may be the case that some country that YouTube is available in has some more specific law about various things. Like, for example, the UK, like the United Nations, or not the United Nations, God damn it, the European Union, losing it. The European Union has pretty stringent laws about like advertising, or at least in Britain, like somewhere over there, they have pretty stringent requirements for advertising. Like you have to state when you've done product placement and stuff. Like that's like the reason why you see the word ad in the titles of YouTube videos, is because you're required to in certain countries in order for it to be like functional, you know. The site won't load. What Dark Canuck, like clear your cookies first of all, and second of all, what browser are you using? That's super weird. But yeah, so similarly, there might just be some new restriction somewhere where YouTube operates, that they have extra requirements for like, if this content could even remotely potentially be viewed by children, it must be within these very conservative parameters for acceptable for children material. Like, it would be great if they could create like a tiered system if they're gonna play it this way. Like, honestly, like I kind of feel like that's the best way to accomplish this, is to create a tiered system where like a certain amount of cursing, or even like cursing throughout the content, like South Park, you know, like South Park will have cursing throughout the episodes, and like adult themes, I guess. But like, I kind of feel like a teen category where it's like age restricted, but maybe not like delisted from search entirely or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. Like, there needs to be some kind of gradation, and like that doesn't penalize you as harshly in your ability to. It's not just your income at that point, the age restriction, it's your reach. like having your reach so severely limited that way is pretty garbage. Well, and so part of the thing that they changed recently, Dark Canuck, excuse me. You said soft profanity. They did used to have 2 tiers of profanity, where it was like, you know, hell and damn. Well, first of all, those are no longer being considered profanity at all, hell and damn. So, but they were previously like soft profanity, and then like shit, for example, would be like more intense profanity, and then like slurs and stuff would be considered like unacceptable profanity, like no monetization or whatever. So, yeah, they're kind of switching around their definitions as well. Did I miss a lot of the stream? Nope. Hey, Caro, we've only been going for about 10 minutes. So, and we're just chilling today. Like, yeah, if when I approve your comments with the F word on the live stream chat, I don't know if that's going to affect this later. What's up, Raccoon Pope? So yeah, they could have a rating system like movies. Here's another thing that I find really irritating about the new changes to the guidelines. Let me actually pull it up to make sure that I remember correctly what it is. Okay, so it says we've updated our guidelines. I realize that this is, there we go. There we go. That's a little bit better for you to see, probably. Can you see? Yes. So for adult content, like, okay, November 2022, we've updated our guidelines to include both clearer language, specific guidelines changes. Like, first of all, appreciate it. I guess that's cool. Specific guidelines changes, and like, I appreciate the clearer language and changes to add suitabilities. See below for a non-exhaustive list of examples for what is changing. Adult content. So thumbnails, titles, and videos containing sexualized texts such as links and 18 plus something, I don't know. I guess like if the text 18 plus appears in the thumbnail, title, or video anywhere, the text reading 18 plus. So obscene language, which is broad, not specific in my opinion. What does obscene language mean? Images such as real or animated minimally covered butts. That's minimally covered butts is the level that we're drawing this at, which means like some swimsuits will not be viewable. Did anyone else lose stream? I am still on, I think. Hopefully. Yeah? No, we're okay. You're giving me an anxiety attack now. Banned butts, true. It lagged for a second, but it's fine now. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry about that. So, okay, continuing on. So if the video contains audio, such as sharing sexual tips or working experiences, like this is something that I find pretty egregious in this change. Like this is the thing that I think I disagree with the most in these policy changes. Like that they would make age-restricted content, like a ton of sex ed basically is already frequently age-restricted, but like it's pretty explicit now that any like sexual advice, and I guess especially if it's directed at teens, will be age restricted. Like, so, which is just, it's so frustrating to me because teenagers like functionally are just young adults and they deserve to know basic things about their bodies, and like they deserve access to information about how to have sex safely, you know, like restricting access to this kind of information more often than not just enables sexual predation on them. Like when you don't know how to navigate sexual experiences, like it's not going to be very gratifying when you do. First of all, you might do things that are unsafe. You might things can happen. Bad things can happen. Pretty demonstrably, statistically, bad things happen in places where there's little to no sex education. Places with abstinence-only sex education have the highest rates of teen pregnancy, high rates of STIs amongst young people. Like, it's not good. So it's really frustrating. Yeah, like you can't get sex ed in the schools, and now you also can't access these resources on YouTube, which is a giant platform for sex ed, you know? Ignorance is dangerous. Yes, exactly, Dark Canuck. Yeah. Yeah, more abstinence-only perspectives will be easier to... It'll be easier to proliferate abstinence-only perspectives, as Spider points out, because you don't use no-no words when you're doing an abstinence-only perspective. The things that they say are horrendous and like very toxic to young people's self-esteem and brain development, IMO. But yeah, like, they're enforcing their ignorance on others. They just don't need apparently any information about how to conduct themselves. And then, even then, when you get to be an adult and you go to search for the content, it doesn't show up in search. Age-restricted content does not show up in searches. You have to go to someone's channel. Like, how are they going to find the information even after they turn 18? Oh my God. It's incredibly frustrating. Oh, and also, this is true, Caro. It's nice that they're making the guidelines clearer, but I have this nasty feeling they're probably only going to enforce it for marginalized creators on this platform like they always have done. That is a good point. And as a small creator, I don't make the majority of my money through YouTube AdSense. Like, I make most of my money through Patreon and direct donations on my website and through PayPal and stuff. So for me, I imagine that someone like Steven Crowder, like, because Steven Crowder was demonetized at some point on YouTube, I imagine that they make most of their money like selling a subscription service on their website and selling various products. Like, Alex Jones is infamous for the brain supplements and the random bullshit that they hawk on their show all the time. Like, that is how they make their money. Mugs and brain pills, exactly. Like a $50 coffee mug, wasn't it, at one point? I guess publishing a video with a link to the real video so that the placeholder will show up in search. Potentially, I guess you could do that. I'm not sure. Like, you'd have to be careful about what you put in the title and thumbnail, because, you know, if you indicate that there is going to be even like reference to 18 plus content, you might not be able to get away with it. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Like, we have to try it. I'm just going to try to be more mindful. Like, it doesn't bother me so much, like, losing monetization, quote unquote, on the live streams, like losing ad revenue on the live streams, because, well, like, I'm not trying to get the VOD channel like growing, you know what I mean? Like, the VOD channel is just there for people who want it. They'll figure it out on their own. They don't need it to show up in their search. Like, people who want that will go find it. But as far as my actual channel, like, I'm gonna talk to my editor and let her know, like, hey, please, as you said, it was you were the one who said that you should start like editing out the curse words. Go ahead and do that. You're right. And, you know, we're gonna have to just be more mindful about the stuff that we talk about, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so thank you, Venusian Blivet. It's not really about protecting kids. It's about making parents feel like YouTube is safe for their kids to watch. I think that there are still going to be ways to get around. Like, they have a bunch of other stuff in here about, like, updating the violence content and harmful or dangerous acts, sensitive events, like... So apparently the language pertaining to sensitive events has been updated to ensure it is clear and understandable, but policy enforcement is otherwise unchanged. So I might have to check that out at some point. Like, because I don't know if what we talk about on here is considered sensitive events. I don't know. Like, we talk about the political shit. And here's the thing that I learned today is if you request manual reviews, there's a likelihood that your channel will receive like a once over from their system, like that previously may not have checked over all of your content or like may not have run the protocol, like this new protocol on your old videos. There's a chance that you will lose, like that you'll have age restricted content going back years and years and years. I saw someone on Twitter who was having this issue exactly, where like a new video was subject to these restrictions and he was like, what the fuck is going on? And in the process of them running a manual review on that video, they also ran the new protocol against his entire channel and he lost like a bunch of content being able to be shown to people, right? It's pandering to conservatives and Christian nationalists. Exactly. They're already anticipating Republican-controlled Congress, it seems. I don't know if that's the case, or like genuinely, if the law changed somewhere else that required this type of thing to happen. I don't know. But it is a really, really weirdly conservative. It's like the progress of YouTube just continues to trend more and more conservative eternally. No, exactly. Mama Mephistopheles says it's not on the parents or YouTube to make sure your kids are only watching kid-friendly content. It is specifically I, Luxander, who is responsible and will be punished. Does YouTube inform you of these retroactive restrictions? Oh, if it's age restricted, then yeah. But if your content gets demonetized, then not usually. Like I usually just find that out because I click back a couple pages to try to find a specific video. I'm like, oh, when did I publish that? And then I find out that content in the meantime has been demonetized. Or I usually don't get, it's always like the yellow one, which is limited to no ads. And I'm not sure that that guarantees that content doesn't run against it, but it certainly means that only certain kinds of content run against it. And I'm honestly like not sure if that makes a huge difference on the ad revenue, because I usually just don't make very much in ad revenue anyway, and most of my views happen in the first 2 days. So if my content gets demonetized after the first 2 days, it kind of doesn't really matter. Like I've already made all of the money that I'm probably going to make off of it, or at least the majority of the money that I'm going to make off of it. Yeah, thank God. Like, yeah, right. Like what happened to parents being responsible for their kids? If conservatives wanted to court younger voters, why wouldn't they adopt policies that those younger people find agreeable and sensible? They don't really care about converting lefties. I think that the conservative tactic is to try to outbreed us. Like they just want to continue brainwashing their children. Does that make sense? Haven't they figured out that making something taboo makes it more enticing? True. Hello, Dizzy. How are we doing tonight? The conservative tactic is to no longer have democracy. It certainly seems to be the way that they're headed. Have wheelchair. I saw that. Congratulations. That's incredible. Yes. It's exciting to have a new wheelchair and not be like borrowing one. My mom used to listen to and watch and read everything that I and my siblings did so that she could talk to us about it. That is probably the way to be. I do think that a lot of parents nowadays are a little bit detached from their children. Like, okay, so like I have a nephew who is like in his younger teen years, right? And he likes to play video games. And I am 28. And I like to play video games. And I think I'm one of the only people who, like I'm one of the only adults who tries to relate to him. Dizzy, thank you for the tier 3 sub. That is awesome. I really appreciate it. Unexpected. The oh yeah. Did the oh yeah pop off? I did not hear it. Thank you. I'm going to update this thing. Well, bam. Yes. Bring me my chat back. Bring me my chat back. Thank you. So yeah, I think that, yeah, I'm curious with the sensitive events thing. especially like it's gonna suck if it turns out that like talking about the political shit that we talk about ends up being against ad money. So I'm just gonna, the thing that I'm gonna do is be annoying and have to more frequently say things like, please share the content on your social media, like please like, subscribe, you know, like post links in your discords or whatever. And I'm also gonna have to like ask for donations more, like if this happens. Like I said, like it's not a huge chunk of my income that comes from AdSense. It's mostly donations. What's the best way to support? Yeah, Michelle, like basically like the Patreon, I think, is still one of the best ways to support, if you're going for direct financial support, because like I can more or less plan like the chunk of money that I get when Patreon comes in, you know. When I was in school studying Chinese politics and talking to folks from there, I learned a bunch about how people swap out words and use metaphor and homophone to get around censors online. Right. You know, it's kind of, I think TikTok is a good example of how this is going to evolve. Speaking of like the detecting what you say algorithm that they run, like unalive is common on TikTok, where they're like, if you're talking about someone dying, you won't say die, you'll say unalive, and you'll censor the word die on screen or just type unalive, like either way. Or you might even censor the word unalive in the text just in case. You never know. They'll start to detect the euphemisms at some point. I appreciate that, Adria. We don't mind the shilling. We understand how this works. It's okay for Tucker Carlson to victim blame mass shootings on Fox News, and it's okay for Chaya Raichik to dox and target children's hospitals on Twitter, but me talking about the shootings, those are sensitive events, not allowed. We will find out. That's going to be the thing. We're going to find out. If you follow me in the Discord, like if you're in the Discord, the announcements channel where I do announcements for the live streams, I also post a link every time I upload a video. So if you just like, even if you want to mute the rest of the server, if you leave the notifications on for the announcements channel, you can adjust those things in the minutia now. Then you'll know when I post videos. Or you can always click the bell too. I mean, if you want. I don't really know how reliably that works anymore, but worth a shot. Free speech absolutists will be silent on this new system, I guarantee. I mean, the curious thing is that I haven't heard anything about this. I had to go find it. So like maybe I will go ahead and have my editor put this as a segment, because I haven't seen very many people talking about these changes, and it's good that it's explicit. I'll give them that. But it sucks. I really think that the restricting sex ed thing is bullshit. Because like honestly, like not only do I think that teens have a right to have access to sex ed, and like including stuff like how to safely have anal sex and stuff like that, like, you know, like include non-normative education. So not only that, but like if the content gets age restricted to 18 plus only, then you can't even find it. Like after you turn 18, it doesn't show up in search. It seems like an attempt by multiple parties to duck accountability. They get to offload it on the vulnerable ones instead. It's certainly quite a burden. It's not like a huge incentive to stay on the platform. I mean, we've been growing as a channel. Like, holler at your boy, we got 30,000 subscribers. It's been going okay. It could slow down, and then we're going to rely more on like word of mouth, basically. And like collaborations, I guess. We're going to have to do collabs more often. Which, speaking of, we are going to do a panel next weekend. That is my plan on Saturday, unless someone ducks out. Not this weekend, because this weekend is New Year's. I will not be seeing you on Sunday. This is the last stream of the year. You know that already. But on the 7th, on Saturday, we should be having a panel about trans genocide and like whether that is happening. but it's, I think, going to be entirely other trans people, except for the host, who is a cis dude. It's going to become the golden age of the dark web. I fucking guess. Would you ever start putting videos onto a service like Nebula? I don't think that I'm what Nebula is looking for. I don't write scripts or do video essays. Like, my content is so much more of a loose format. So I just don't think that it's ever going to happen. I would consider it, I guess. Like, I just don't think that that's what the website is for. Like, there's documentaries and stuff on Nebula. It's like more akin to Netflix. We're going to have to go underground at some point. We're going to switch to Vimeo, I guess. If it doesn't actually end up mattering that, like, the website, like, isn't showing the content to other people, then I guess it would make just as much sense to host on Vimeo. Whatever. Except that I think that YouTube is generally considered pretty reliable. What are we talking about today? We've just been kind of shooting the shit, Sandutita, about the recent changes in YouTube ad requirements. Nebula was made by YouTubers. Maybe streamers should make a place. Could potentially, yeah. I just don't know how to, yeah. I mean, if someone approached me, I'd be interested. I don't know how to do any of the things that would be required for that. Vimeo is still around. I think that they do exist as a hosting platform. Goddamn it, Malcolm does all trans whatever panels. Yeah, I've been on a couple of panels with Malcolm before. He is pretty good to me in terms of he hits me up pretty frequently when there's some shit going on. Is the panel run by that guy that Polly and Sunday were talking to? Will and his channel. Is that the guy you're talking about? A streaming branch of Nebula. That could be enjoyable. Where it's, you know, looser content. Just saw Montana's new anti-drag bill. I have not heard about that. Do you have a link, Live Oak? Also, welcome to the website. What's up? Strebula. True. Yeah, why Dark Canuck? Is that good news or bad news? That the person hosting the channel is Will. Yeah, sweat. They're coming after us. They're always coming after us. I don't know that it's going to stop reasonably anytime soon. Yes, and Jolly, yeah, we talked about J.K. Rowling and the Gussie Grips situation on Tuesday this week. I need to get that to my editor and see if she can get that uploaded for me. Did you see the Vice Feminism panel with Eli Ehrlich? Also, I recommend scrolling the comments on that one for a nice dose of brainworms. So I opened that and started to watch it, and then I was like, it's too early in the day for me to deal with this level of conflict. I just was like, I don't really feel like watching it. That was this morning. Now I see Merkins everywhere. Oh no. Sticking to small cottage queer communities on privately hosted sites sounds like a safe option. I like the opportunity to have a little bit of reach, you know? Like, it does materially benefit me if my video shows up for conservatives. Like, when I talk about Tucker Carlson and it shows up and the conservatives are like, the conservatives are like, can we get some rees in chat to represent the conservatives? They flip out, but it benefits me because I get ad revenue from them watching the video. So, shrug. Will is extraordinarily insufferable when it comes to trans issues. He's a you better be nice to me because you need me kind of trans ally. I mean, I also think that Polly is like way too aggressive. Like, she kind of always starts it. Does that make sense? I had a very productive conversation with Will when I spoke with him. So, you know. What's hysterical to me about Merkins is that for once in my life, I knew the name of a sex thing that sex-having people didn't know existed. What's up, Emily? Where have I been? Oh, I spent this entire month moving. I mean, not the entire month. I spent a lot of the month moving and then taking time off to recover from the moving. And then it was Christmas. And then this weekend, it's going to be New Year's. So I took a lot of time off in December. Ugh. Do you like the new digs? The new background? I kind of feel like the colors that I'm using over here are like canceling each other out. What if it were green though? Is that working a little bit better? It's like a lot easier to see rather than having one purple and one green, or one like pink and one green. Anyway, Polly and Sunday were pretty aggressive with him. Yeah, I mean, I just think Polly is aggressive towards everybody. Like, it's really cringe, and I don't ever watch her. Like, I try to watch Polly's content. I try to watch her having conversation with someone, and I get like 2 seconds in, and I'm like, oh, I hate this, and I leave because I don't want to poison myself with that in my free time. You got some vines since the last time I was here. Yeah, I just put them up today. Thank you, Mersh. Mersh bought the vines and a bunch of other shit off of my wish list. And yes, this is a quilt with very irregular edges. Green is strangely my least favorite color. I much prefer a warm brown. Green is a good color. I don't know that it's like a good color for YouTube videos though. So like something like that. I don't know. What's up? Maybe Skylar. The first time I watched one of your videos, I fell in love with your hairstyle so much that I had it done to my hair. I mean, listen, it works. It's much easier for temperature management. It's definitionally androgynous, you know? Green is not a creative color. I don't know. I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that. Polly isn't great either. I think she did some very weird stuff to President Sunday, but the way you handle that isn't chest beating about how badly the trans people need you. I expect cis people to just be able to go, fuck this, I'm out, rather than like what Will did, but that's my preference. So I haven't watched it like any of their conversations. I just know that they happened. Like, again, I tried to watch it and then I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't care. Set your light to brown or I unsub. I don't have a brown light, I don't think. No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm such a disappointment. Yeah, I would not necessarily agree that green is not a creative color. I'm thinking about hanging even more green shit in this room. I've got some plants in this room. Brown light would just be low orange. Yeah, there's orange. Do we like that? Green is a highly creative color. I like green. Soy boy, is there a joke being made? Yeah, I guess the orange is pretty okay. This is a different orange. That orange is a little bit too red, I think. Let's go back to this. Ooh. There are no bad colors. You know, you're right. I used to think that yellow was a bad color. Oh, green is not a creative color is a line from a YouTube video. Thank you, Athiet. There was a joke being made that I did not get. It happens sometimes. Yeah, fair enough, Dizzy. Yeah, so I'm familiar with Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared because I have heard the name before, but I have not watched it. Baby poop greige is a bad color. I will, yeah, beige on beige on beige, not a good. You take that back about yellow? I didn't used to like yellow, but now I appreciate it. I actually just off camera, you cannot see it because it's just off camera. I have a vase with flowers in it. And the first bouquet that I got was red roses. And then I just replaced them with pink roses. But in the same area as the pink roses, there was also a bouquet with different flowers. Like, I know there were a bunch of, like, there were some yellow roses, but then a couple of other more vivid yellow flowers. And I almost kind of regret not getting that one, but whatever. We got trans allies who just want to tickle their savior complex. I mean, yeah, but you can take advantage of them. That's kind of like my position. Like, yeah, they might be like mostly concerned with their own sense of gratification at being like a helpful whatever, but I'll take it. I'll take advantage of it. It's fine. I like the chartreusey yellow green. Yeah, I could see that being good in some contexts, I guess. If they're taking advantage of us, we can do the same back. I mean, you know, I don't think that you need to have entirely unselfish reasons for doing things. So, but I think that it's okay to also have selfish reasons for doing things. So, you know, it's like, fine. We're both getting something out of it. What's up, Baphomet? Hello. Yeah, Athia says, the state that things are in now, I'll take the allies with savior complexes over nothing at all. True. You finished drawing your fursona last night, Baphomet? That sounds incredible. I've been thinking about commissioning. I think that this year, when we can start to afford these things, like, since now I'm gonna be like, okay, smart with my money, don't need to spend a bunch of money. Like, I've already gotten most of the shit that I need. So we're gonna start working on commissioning art for the channel for stuff that we need. Like, some of the stuff just needs to change. The closest thing we have to innate morality is the psychological reward we get from being cooperative to other humans. True. Bed when, though? NBJ, you're talking about, like, I don't have a bed situation that I'm dealing with. I am stymied temporarily, but working on it. Like, I was gonna get a specific bed, and it's an expensive bed, to be honest. I could get a cheap bed and, like, have a better place to sleep than the air mattress or the beanbag chair, which is the place that I've been sleeping most recently. I want to get, like, if I'm gonna bother to buy a bed, I want it to be the bed that I'm gonna have for the next 15 years. So I was gonna try to, like, apply for credit stuff, and I can't get a bed because I don't have good enough credit yet. I've only just recently figured out how to build credit, and so I don't have, like, it's gonna take time for the credit accounts that I have already opened to even start showing up on a credit check. Therefore, I will not be able to use the typical process that this mattress seller uses to finance the bed. So I'm gonna try some other things and see if I can get a loan or something, or like help from family or something. I cannot justify trying to crowdfund for it or something. So, like, it's just, if I really can't swing it within the next few weeks, I will just buy a shitty bed from Walmart, like a spring bed from Walmart, and a memory foam pillow top, and call it good. Unfortunately. The Montana bill specifically prohibits drag story hours. Not surprising. I'm still sleeping on a topper on the floor, so feel that. Yo, God, I'm sorry, Soy Boy. It's so stressful. Why commission art? Just use an AI. How dare you, Venusian? I assume you're joking. If you need a graphic designer, I am actually looking for work. I can't help but mention. Well, Soy Boy, I need like a person who draws dragons, like not so much like a general graphic artist. Although if I do need graphic design work, I can reach out. I don't have any like logos or anything that I need right now that I know of. I don't know. Other people have like the borders around shit. Like I haven't really thought about that in a long time, about whether I want there to be like something along here and then along down here and like all the way around that has some functional reference to dragons. Hello, I draw dragons. Dizzy, you draw dragons? I don't think I've ever seen your dragon drawings. Can you get a futon and then when you upgrade to mattress, use futon for couch? I don't want to try to sleep on a futon. It's not going to be good. It's probably going to be worse than the current options that I have available. What kind of dragon do you have in mind? Oriental, European, modern fantasy art? It's just like a... I mean, I prefer the Western style. I guess sort of modern fantasy art as well. Like, it sort of depends. But I don't... Like, not the Asian style dragons usually. To shreds, you say? What is that from? Is that from Futurama? I like knew that you're making reference, but I don't know what it's a reference to. I do more illustrations and commissions. I mean, will it let you drop your link, Soy Boy? Do you have like a portfolio? To shreds, you say, is Futurama? Okay, thank you. What color dragon? Like, I haven't really thought about the details. Like, it's a black dragon. You've seen the emotes. He's a black dragon. And I have not figured out the details yet. Like, I don't think that the version that I want to have all across the website is going to necessarily have the green horns and stuff. I think EB just put those highlights on there to make it distinguishable. I think that one is blue, but I also don't think it was made with the intention of it reflecting my website. It was just made by Blue Spectra for funsies. And then I was like, do you mind if I put those on the website? And they were like, yeah, go for it. That is a very adorable dragon. Look at how chonky. Look, it's so chonky. Oh my god, what a cutie pie. We love. Yeah, for sure, Soy Boy. You can drop your link in the Discord later or DM it to me. They do message requests on Discord now. I can't afford the art yet, everybody. Okay? I can't afford the art yet. I'm just like, hopefully starting in January, I will have more money than is strictly required for me to live, enough that I can justify buying myself stuff that I need, such as business expenses. You know? But yeah, I love this art you have, Dizzy. Let me see. I'm kind of curious. What else do you got over here? You got any other dergs? Oh, this guy's a cutie pie. Look at these guys. They're so cute. I know, I'm just being clear, Jimsy. I'm like, I'm not ready to reach out to anybody because I need to work on affording it and also the specifics of what I'm asking for. Millennials destroy art sales? How? How so? I think that AI destroys art sales. Like, I was trying to explain to somebody, like, the problem with AI art as it stands right now is I've seen a shit ton of people talking about the $8 that they spent on the AI art, but I have not seen anywhere near that number of people talking about the commissions that they got. And, like, a commission is not significantly more expensive, Oh, it's a joke about millennials killing every industry. How dare. I just haven't had the chance to talk about AI art on the channel yet, I don't think. So I'm taking the opportunity. It's like, I'm not even gonna like try to touch on the theft part, even though I do think that it mostly just like remixes the actual art of other people in an annoying manner and in a way that has been abused, frankly. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, people are buying AI art and it's taking business away from actual artists. Like, thank goodness you cannot copyright. That's the rule that they've landed on, is you cannot, because of a picture of a bonobo that was taken like by the bonobo holding the camera and it clicked the button, but because the photo was taken by an animal, like, the copyright belongs to the camera owner, because like copyright must involve human creation. So you can't copyright AI generated art for that reason, apparently. AI art, true. I don't even put any of my art online. I mean, that's probably a good call. It's already not recommended for you to put high quality copies of your art on your main timelines. Like, do the lower, you might be able to do lower quality versions or cropped versions. But even then, also that bonobo totally owns that photo. That bonobo case was so wild back in the day, and it's funny that it's relevant about this. I mean, yeah, like the way that it is interpreted. I don't think it's any more theft than it is when humans create art inspired by other art. So I think that there is like a qualitative difference between like seeing an art style and... So here's the difference, in my view, is like this is going to be probably the closest metaphor I'll be able to come up with, is like the concept of AI art. It would be kind of like if you, as an artist, instead of looking at someone's art and being like, that, it looks cool, I like that style, and then trying something similar with that in mind while you're drawing, I think that that is different than if you, instead of looking at someone's art for inspiration, if you like had their art on a tracer board, what are they called, a light board, and you were tracing this part of this piece of art from this artist, like you're drawing the person's body, like you pulled the torso from this piece of art and then you took the hip area from a different piece of art and you just traced over it in a way that connected it to the torso, and then you just kept doing that for all the elements of the photo. Like, that does feel like theft to me. Like, you're just like, that's what the AI is basically functionally doing. It's taking bits and pieces from other original pieces of art and just kind of like smushing them together. Like, does that allegory or metaphor make sense? Like, literally, it's literally like if an artist were to be tracing individual elements off of a bunch of different other people's art. Like, they didn't actually originally create any aspects of it. It's almost like collaging. It's like if you were collaging other people's art. What if you're Italian and you just say, hey, I'm Martin over here? That's what, if you're New York, that's a New York accent. Human artists lose jobs and have huge scandals if they, quote, trace art from others instead of just being inspired by it. Right, like, there aren't necessarily legal restrictions on that, but, I mean, I guess it depends on where you live. I don't think the mental process of the artist is important at all if you can't tell the results are stolen. Like, I get complaining when it's obvious, but not the entire concept of AI art. I mean, what do you think about the thing that we were just saying, Venusian, about like, oh, there are legal issues? Like, so if it were a person who like was tracing parts of other people's art and using that in their own thing and claiming it was original, like there are legal problems with that. Like, so I don't know why we think that AI art is an exception to that, because it is the same thing. Is that what I'm understanding, Dizzy? I've never read up on intellectual property law. I'll trust your opinion on this. Yeah, and Mama Mephistopheles points out the problem is that there would be no AI art without the art it is based on. If there were no other art, it would not exist. I mean, yeah, like, at this point, obviously, art is heavily influenced by the art that came before it, but it is still something that could spontaneously just be done by people. There was a sculptor who got busted for sculpting what was in someone else's photo. Really? I didn't realize that it would cross mediums like that. Like someone was making a sculpture of something that was in a copyrighted photo. Wow. AI art is just running the it's on a computer so it's different exception, which isn't real. It's just that people think it is. Oh, and it can cross mediums. Wow, that's cool. I mean, that's like annoying in a certain capacity, but like that's fascinating. No, Venusian, like I think that you're still fundamentally not understanding that there's a difference in process. Like in my opinion, at least, like what I'm trying to explain, and I don't think is coming across to you. I shouldn't say you don't understand. That's rude. Venusian just says, we should treat AI like we treat humans, IMO. You wouldn't delete all memories of art from an artist's brain before they can produce anything. We're not talking about using art as a reference. We're talking about hodgepodge, copy pasting parts from this piece of art and parts from this piece of art and parts from this piece of art, like literally in the most physical sense that it can be, even though it's being done digitally. Like it's basically like physically compiling a compilation of different images into some new like hodgepodge. It's a collage. It's like you cut out, in Weird Science, when they're making the photo at the beginning to feed, they're like feeding some information to the computer so that it knows what kind of woman to build. And they're like they cut the lips off of this woman and they cut the eyes off of this woman. And like, then they feed the whole thing in. That's what AI art is. It's just Photoshop with really good blending between the different elements. Like you're just remixing existing art. Yeah, Winter says, that's been done in the past. That's how apprentices would learn. They would copy a sculpture, paint said sculpture in a painting, then repaint the same art another artist had made. Yeah, as an apprentice learning something, that's not the same as like marketing, like using it for marketing and selling it for a profit, right? They learned some serious skill, so it was profitable in a sense. Yeah, I don't know. If Venusian says, my position is if you can trace it back from the resulting image, then yes, it's fair to say it's copyright infringement. I mean, yeah, I like, that's kind of like saying like, as long as we can't tell you're doing this thing that is illegal, it's okay. That's like kind of what your argument is. I know that I'm rephrasing what you've said. I don't want it to sound like I'm putting words in your mouth, but like, you're saying like, so long as I can't tell that you're tracing art, then it's not a problem. That's the analogous example that you would use, like in examples where we currently have restrictions on real human artists copying other people's work in whole or in part. A computer probably printed the fake vines behind you, assuming they are fake. Is that AI art? That's not this, like a computer printing the vines, or a robot, more accurately, a robot printing the vines is probably not the same as a robot designing them. Oh, Pydradig makes a good point as well. In pretty much every case, the images used to teach the AI are being used without consent. So, like, there's an issue of people not having the option for their art to not be used in this way. A human designed it, the vines. I mean, I assume, you know. Human artists were already struggling for income before DALL-E dropped. I don't think AI art is going to help that. That's, yeah, artists have been undervalued as is. I hope that I live to see a society where we appreciate artists and art. Like if you've ever thought about it for a couple seconds, like Patreon, which I have one of, and I appreciate everybody on there who supports me. You do get a little bit, like a little tiny bit of extra content from me. Not a lot, but a tiny bit of extra content from me on there. And you are my patrons, which is also what we would call you if you were like just giving money to an artist so that they keep painting cool shit, or like, oh, I'm just going to give you a monthly patronage and then you can like give me some sculptures a couple times a year, you know, like a patron of the arts. Exactly. Like we are in microcosm kind of creating this sort of thing. Is not all art, including stories, a remix? I have a challenge. Describe something wholly new and then tell me how you came up with it without references to previously seen art or objects. So like I maintain that to me, it's not about not being able to refer to art. Like it's to me, it's about like the physical remixing of the parts and the comparison to literally tracing someone's art. Like there is a difference between looking at a piece of artwork and being like, those flowers look really cool and I'm going to try to draw something similar while I'm like thinking about those flowers and being inspired by them, versus taking that picture and tracing over the flowers so that you can have an exact copy of those flowers in this small corner of the whole frame. Like even if the whole picture is like, even if the object in the foreground is not those flowers, you know what I mean? So it's not about your thought process. It's about the physical way that you created the art. So the AI art in this way, like takes components of existing images and like mashes them together. IMO. Like, I guess I'm not 100% sure that that's literally how it works. But like, that's functionally, like, that's the only thing the AI can do, is it generates images based off of like, oh, so you like beautiful woman. Most of the pictures with beautiful women in them have big titties. So let's take a composite of a bunch of photos of women, of like, not photos necessarily, but like drawings or whatever of women with big titties, and then composite them together into one. I don't know. That's why it's I call them image generators. It's not an actual artificial intelligence. It's a machine for scanning pixels and comparing them to keyword tags. If there was an actual artificial intelligence behind these images, I would be campaigning for its freedom from financial exploitation. That's the other thing about it too, Diz, for sure. It recognizes patterns in the images it is fed, just like humans. I just think that the physical process is not the same, but I don't know. Copyright law used to make more sense before before corporations made copyright last in perpetuity. It's fucking annoying. Humans do not, quote, recognize patterns by scanning pixels, says Dizzy. Yeah, I don't know. I mostly think that people should have had the option. Like, I saw one story about a person who had just died, an artist who had just died, whose art got fed into one of these things, and then, like, the machine started pumping out a bunch of stuff that was, like, in the same style as this artist, and, like, it sucks that the family didn't have the option to limit that, you know? I don't think the process matters because it means that people with better memories are closer to infringing the copyrights of others. Yeah, maybe I would have to actually, like, read more into how it's done. My boyfriend calls it recombinant machine learning. The recombinant part didn't totally make sense to me at first, but now I think it perfectly describes what we're talking about. Oh boy. I don't know what recombinant means in this context. Copyright used to be for protecting artists and musicians, and then people would be able to make derivative works. Yeah, and there's a fuzzy line there between derivative work and like here. Like, I guess here's an example of something that is, like, I would consider kind of a gray area. Oh my god, am I going to be able to find it in a reasonable amount of time? Hold on, let me see. I'm trying to find a drawing that I made so that I can show it to you. I just don't remember where I saved it in my computer. It's been a minute since I was drawing on a regular basis. So I don't know where it is. Like, where is Greta? I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Well, shit. That's annoying. I was about to make a point with art that I drew, and I was going to show off the art that I drew. Gross. I'm still looking for it because I still want to make this point. Bummer. Well, the point that I was going to make is, like, I drew a Pokemon and it ended up looking pretty much exactly like the picture that I was referencing. I didn't trace it. I was just looking at the picture while I was drawing. So, like, does that constitute copyrighted material that, you know, that, like, would be legally protected from me trying to sell it as my own art? You know, like, I was only looking at the picture and drawing the Pokemon, but I ended up with a result that looked like it might as well have just been the original thing, which is why I was going to be showing off when I showed it to you. But like, that, you know, was only in my own mind, technically. I was looking at the art and it was technically in my own mind, but what I ended up with, like, so I guess like Venusian, you would agree that like that would be obviously copyright infringement. What if Andrew Tate turns out to be AI art? Will we give the computer credit then? Oh gosh. I saw an argument made by someone in the translation industry. They drew a comparison with how computer translation killed the whole industry, since even a flawed result made by a machine is free or absolutely dirt cheap in comparison to hiring manpower. That's a good point. That like maybe the strongest argument against AI art is that it is able to be done faster and then therefore like completely subverts the market for traditional art. Like in a society where people don't have a lot of money, you know, return to hiring humans, true. Yeah, I was considering talking about Andrew Tate today, but I am not sure. I am a tired person, and that's the main problem with the not having a fucking bed situation. Like, I'm hoping to get this resolved within the next week or two, but, you know, it's the holidays, so it's tough to get a hold of people. We're gonna see if I can get a loan. No need to screw that guy. Well, I mostly just wanted to make fun of him, because it's gotten funnier. Every update about this situation gets funnier. My Twitter timeline is like 80% of people reacting to the Andrew Tate thing. It's funny, yeah. Something that takes out the lower rung of an industry like translation ends up taking out the entry path people have to develop the skill to do the higher quality work. That's a good point. Yeah. I know. I have the segment all laid out. I have the links all ready that we could do an Andrew Tate segment. I think technically I'm going to consider the YouTube segment at the beginning. I'll ask my Guitar Rocker editor person to do that, to edit it. Yeah. The Andrew Tate thing is funny. I guess we can start talking about Andrew Tate when I get back, because I'm gonna go try to hook up more water in my cup here. Hassan's stream was hilarious. He kept trying to call Aiden Ross and he wouldn't answer. I don't know who Aiden Ross is. Should I be grateful that I don't know who Aiden Ross is? Anyway, I'm gonna get a refill of my water, or at least try to, and you all should grab a refreshment. And I am going to, excuse me, start talking about Andrew Tate. Oh my god. Burpee. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You kill my father, prepare to die. Oh gosh. Anyways, I have to eat pizza and write essays. Good night, Spider. Good luck on your essays. Hello, Dank Cat Lord. Welcome in. Now waiting for a Tucker Carlson episode about hideously deformed anime girls with huge tits. True. I love Data. We're talking about Data from Star Trek, right? Star Trek The Next Generation. Data's like my favorite character. And I frequently rewatched The Measure of a Man. I had my brother watch The Measure of a Man with me the last time he was over. It's one of the only, like, I used to be quite a stickler about watching shows in chronological order. So if I really had a hankering to watch one specific episode of a show, I would usually just watch the entire show. But no, I'll just go back and be like, oh, The Measure of a Man. It's so good. Data's my favorite character by a fucking mile. True. Well, it doesn't really matter now, Mama Mephistopheles. If you haven't heard the most recent update, prepare to enjoy. So, we changed the title of the stream. If you're here and you have not yet hit the like button on the YouTube page, consider doing that really fast. It directly helps the channel every single time. Like, if I get like 3 new likes, there will usually be a couple more viewers who come in directly afterward. So let's talk about Andrew Tate. Okay. So, we are going to talk about Andrew Tate and Greta Thunberg now. Oh, Snappy Puppy, eating the foods. I had a dream about having a dog recently. It was very fucking weird. You have a mechanical keyboard? Yeah, I have a... What? Yeah. Yeah. I'm a gamer. What? You think I'm not a gamer? You think I can't hang with the gamers? You think I don't have RGB shit all over my desk? Listen. Just because I haven't been in the fucking mood to play any video games recently. Been playing Animal Crossing. But no. Yeah, I'm a capital G gamer. RGB is dumb. Come at me, Dank Cat Lord. I have rainbow shit everywhere. Like, I'm too much of an F word to not... censoring myself for YouTube. That was a joke. I'm not really gonna stop calling myself a fag. Yeah, RGB is cool because it's gay as fuck. That's why. I am not a gamer and I have one. I love mine. Yeah, I have a mechanical keyboard. Yeah. Anyway, play Minecraft and stream it? No. I fucking hate Minecraft. I mean, like, it's fine, I guess. It just bores me. It just is boring a lot to me. Like, that's just me. I'm sorry. My keyboard has blue lighting, but I got teal keycaps. Ooh, all right. Luxander gonna be the next Vosh now that Vosh likes Minecraft? No, Vosh has descended. Okay, well, now I'm officially gonna take his place. Minecraft is bad stream fodder. Hollow guesses you could call it a board game. True. What's up, Raven, in the YouTube chat? How we doing tonight? All right. Anyway, let me get some links open so that we can start talking about this. We just wanna have fun. I don't know why I went there, but I did. Twitter is dying, but it's worth sticking around because there are things that continue to happen on Twitter that could not possibly happen on any other platform. Like the kind of incredible things that you see happen on Twitter, you can't replicate it anywhere else. It's gonna be truly tragic when they unplug the last server because you just comedy gold. Are you ready? Greta Thunberg, who I'm sure you are all familiar with. She is 19, about to be 20 years old. She became a household name for her climate activism as a young woman, like a teenager, and she still exists. And then there's this other person who also exists called Andrew Tate, who I don't really know anything about, except that he seems like kind of a garbage person. The Twitter account of his says, light heavyweight kickboxing world champion, escape the matrix at my website. He kind of seems like a pickup artist or something along those lines, but I'm not entirely sure. So here's where this whole saga started. He just kind of out of nowhere ats Greta Thunberg. Like, I'm not even entirely sure that she had been active on Twitter recently. So he says, I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has a W16 8-liter quad turbo. My 2 Ferrari 810 Competizione have 6.5 liter V12s, and this is just the start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions. And then a picture of him with this fancy looking car this car looks like it just came straight out of Need for Speed Underground. It looks fake to me. Anyway, so that's where this started. He's just clowning on her for no reason. Whatever. All right. So here's the thing. Things changed for him very, very immediately because Greta Thunberg came back with, yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com. Pretty solid comeback. All right. It's not anything too like graphic or anything, you know, smalldickenergy@getalife.com. I think it's a pretty solid comeback. We may or may not have a discussion later on in this segment about whether the body shaming for the small dick thing is good or bad. Not right now. I don't want to we'll fucking get to it. That's the boring part of the conversation. We're talking about the funny part of the conversation right now. So I think that was it. And then he says, how dare you? Keffels, you got bodied by a top G, of course. And then the follow-up tweet to that. So here's the thing. I have not actually watched this yet. I don't know what the contents of this are. And I'm going to be just tortured and surprised with you. Oh, we had a donation earlier, a $5 donation from John Get Bent. Ooh, that didn't show up on... Okay, hold on. Let me fix the thingy before we move on. We're at 1/4 of the goal for today's stream. I'm hoping to get to $100 for today's stream. If we don't get there, that's totally fine. I still appreciate you all hitting like on the video. Get back to where I need to be. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna get my headphones started over here. Oh my God, my desk is a little bit messy. I just have too many pairs of headphones over here. Obtuse toddler freak warning. All right, so let's get this rolling.
Release some greenhouse gases. I'm obviously a stranger to online controversy. It's not something I often do. But now, the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is...
Oh no, the copium. He is sucking down the copium right now. Do we have copium in chat? Can we get some copium in chat?
I have small dick energy. Why would that be your own email address, Greta?
Oh my God, why would that be your own email address, Greta? This is so fucking stupid.
I mean, also, I don't want to assume her gender. It's 50-50, but it is what it is. I'm not actually
Does she have her pronouns in bio? She probably does.
at Greta. Please bring me pizza and make sure that these boxes are not recycled. Thank you. So I'm not.
You listen. You are not supposed to try to recycle pizza boxes. They're greasy. Don't recycle pizza boxes. Throw them in the trash. You can't recycle pizza boxes. PSA. Let's get back to this copium. Men trying to prove that they're straight to each other is hilarious. Amounts of gay, true. And in the robe, too, you know, like, so many things about it scream like, I am a deeply insecure person.
She's mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot.
Oh my God, this is such a... Okay, I just don't... He's just so dumb.
And then, because I called her out on it, the global Matrix got this bot farm to like and retweet and all this bot commenting.
Oh yeah, he's claiming that this was a bot. Like she has 3 million likes on this tweet right now. 3 million likes on this tweet right now. This tweet is currently within the top 25 most liked tweets on the whole fucking website over the history of the website, to be totally clear. He's claiming that was bots.
To try and pretend that her telling me that she has a small dick and her own email address somehow teaches me a lesson.
It doesn't teach you a lesson, really. It's not supposed to. I mean, the lesson is don't try to come at Greta for no reason. That's the lesson you learned today, sir, is that you will get ratioed.
Welcome to a new episode of The Clown Show. But now I know, at least, that
AI-generated likes, true.
Greta, with her little hate-filled face, bitter, sitting somewhere without the heating on.
Everybody always makes fun of her, like, and how she looks in her face. That's ableist. She's autistic.
Cold, little hat, shivering. Use my tweets, which is going to make my Twitter account far more fun into eternity.
Okay, so he was acting like he enjoyed it, basically. So, you notice this pizza. I don't recognize that brand. And it kind of looks like maybe it's not in English on there. So here's the twist. Here's the turn that maybe you were not expecting, except that maybe you clicked the video with the title, and maybe you know what's about to happen. Because the next thing that happened is that the Romanian government realized that he was in Romania because of this pizza. They've been like looking for proof. They've been watching his content for proof that he is in Romania so that they could go raid his place and arrest him for alleged human trafficking. Actual Pizzagate. Yeah, so QR code in plain view too. Yeah. So yeah, Romanian authorities were just looking for proof that Andrew Tate was in the country, so they used the social media posts to track him down. His ridiculous video yesterday featured a pizza from a Romanian pizza chain, Jerry's Pizza, confirming that he was in the country. Not only did Greta Thunberg destroy Andrew Tate with her tweet, she made him so angry he inadvertently tipped off Romanian authorities of his presence in Romania with this lame comeback video. For the past 9 months, anti-mafia prosecutors in Romania have been putting together evidence taken from the Tate brothers' villa, from the chat studio, in order to prove that the accusations made during the hearings alleged by their alleged victims are true. And I guess I don't want to get super deep into this part. Hold up, I had a different link to something. Let me find it. Like, what is it that he's accused of? You know, what is going on? Excuse me. I'm burpy. Excuse me. This is a Google translation of something from RomaniaTV.net. Trigger warning here for sexual assault and human trafficking. The police say that there were injured persons, and they were allegedly recruited by brothers Andrew and Tristan Tate, who misled them that they wanted a marriage/cohabitation relationship and that they had real feelings of love for them. The women were allegedly later transported and housed in buildings in a county, Ilfulf County, where through acts of physical violence and mental coercion, such as intimidation, constant surveillance, control, and the invoking of alleged debts, they were sexually exploited by the group members by forcing them to perform pornographic manifestations in order to produce and disseminate through some social media platforms material having such a character, and by submitting to the execution of a work in a forced manner from Romanian police. There were 6 injured persons who have been identified as being sexually exploited by this organized criminal group. I didn't mean to say that in a weird accent. My mouth just like stopped working. So yeah, they're like accused of sex trafficking, essentially. And that's why they were being searched for. Like the Romanian government was collecting information on them, trying to find out if they were in the country so that they could be arrested and prosecuted, ostensibly. It's just not going well. I kind of skipped over the part where they got super creepy about her. There were some people in the comments who were basically saying that, oh, she would stop being so uptight if you would just fuck. Like, they were basically saying, oh, Andrew Tate, you should just, you know, she'll stop being so hysterical after you dick her down, which I'm not seeing. I'm not finding the tweets that I was looking for right now. But that was like an intermediary step that I kind of forgot to add. Yeah, don't call yourself a climate activist, Greta, if you have to burn people like that. Oh, gosh. He was raided in April. Yeah, imagine accidentally giving the government enough evidence to arrest you for human trafficking in a shitty attempt to get back at someone who roasted you on Twitter. Sometimes you just need to take the L. That's the lesson that we've learned today from Andrew Tate, is sometimes you need to just take the L, because you will fuck yourself over in unanticipated ways if you continue. Like, wow. Congratulations, you played yourself. Cut the segment there. It's not a shocking thing to say for people to say to women or femmes. Wait, which part? What? I thought that he was just a misogynist, not a human trafficker / rapist. I had no idea either. I didn't even know that there was an alleged, investigation stuff going on, but apparently it has been known. And this is just a complete aside. I find it kind of annoying that people have been consistently saying over the past week, like, this is not part of the segment, I'm just complaining right now. Greta is about to be 20 years old. Like, I think her birthday is January 5. So she's about to be 20 years old. People have been consistently calling her a teenager throughout this process. They're like, oh, you got burned by a teenager, and like, why are you talking about having sex with a teenager? And it's like, she is an adult. She's about to be 20. And I think, yeah, technically she is objectively 19 years old, but when you say teenager, like, that's like, there is an association with not adulthood that is kind of inherent to the word teenager. Like, I think it's generally considered kind of rude, I would say, to call an 18 and 19-year-old person a teenager. That's just me. It feels condescending. It feels infantilizing, right? She rose to prominence as a 16-year-old, and thus she is forever enshrined as such in stupid people's minds. Right, and she's autistic, so she'll probably look young for a long time. Could one potentially not blow up in popularity when they're a teenager and not always be a teenager? We'll see. You can't be famous and younger than me. It's just rude. I know, Venusian. I get so fucking irritated. It's not so much an age thing for me. Like, the one thing that I really get mostly irritated by is when someone who has been out as trans for a very short period of time is like more prominent than I am on the subject of trans issues. I'm like, like, there's part of me that wants to be like, I don't think you deserve to have bigger platform than I do because I've been working at this for longer. I suspect there's some ableism as well behind that because people infantilize autistics all the time. True. Do autistic people look younger? I have read that before. Maybe it's not that we look younger, but we do tend to, because of the way that we dress and do our hair and stuff like that, we don't tend to change those things in the same ways that other people do as they, like, you know how, like, normal people, like, I shouldn't have said normal, like average, like I was thinking in normies. I should, like, normies. You know how normies are like, their clothing kind of gets blander as they get older? I don't think autistic people do that. Like, we tend to continue wearing the clothes that we enjoy or that are comfortable rather than slowly shifting into what you would typically understand as like acceptable mom clothes, like for parents especially, you know. I think it's just shorthand for he could literally be her father. Yeah. I mean, it's both of those things, Hey Oteo. It's, for one, it's the people saying like, why are you talking about having sex with a teenager? And also the like, ooh, you got bodied by a teenager. Like, it's like you're undercutting her success by being like, oh, she's just a teenager and she burned you, an adult. Like, that's and it's like the misogyny, like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel good. It's something about our facial expressions too. Yeah, I think so, Athiet. Fill in, you're gonna have to take yourself back about 10 minutes in the stream and listen to the whole segment because we just finished going over what happened with Greta. If you want to take it back 10 minutes and catch up. Well, I mean, she is Scandinavian, but she's also a teenager, and you know, like, she has been a teenager like through the time that we've seen her and how she dresses. So she probably dresses like a young Scandinavian person. Hollow System comes off as close to age 20 to intimately close friends. We are going to be 27 in January. People used to think that I was a lot older when I was consistently perceived as female. And then after I started T, people started to think that I was much younger. But I don't think it had to do with how I looked. I think it has to do with how I speak. There's also the stimming thing. If I rock back and forth a lot or do echolalia a lot, etc., people tend to interpret that as childlike. Oh, that's interesting. I definitely hate it in the context of LOL, you got owned by a teenager. Yeah. People consistently think I'm a minor. I am 28. And it's going to be even worse for you, Dizzy. I mean, yeah, obviously it's great that you have the wheelchair. I'm not knocking the wheelchair. I'm just pointing out that it also is another infantilizing, like, compounding factor where people are not only think that you look young, but like, yeah. You know, I'm just acknowledging. Dylan Mulvaney only blew up because the Biden admin needed to talk to a trendy trans person, but not anyone who was seriously involved in activism that would call out the Democrats' inaction in the face of genocide. Right, like, yeah. She is a very, like, she's not the kind of person who's going to take the opportunity to be like, why have you not done enough, right? I assumed Dylan was a serious activist. Dylan, I think the most serious activism that she's done is that time where she went to the White House. Like, other than that, her entire shtick is kind of making fun of the stereotypes about being a woman. Like, on one hand, it's like she's reveling in all these new things, but she also takes the piss. Like, she just kind of brings some levity to it. I return to being cringe. True. The lemon water hits so good. She's not really, I mean, she is a vlogger, but she does it, it's intentionally done for humorous, exaggerated effect. It's exaggerated, the types of feminine, like she'll be like, day 145 of being a girl, going hiking while wearing heels. And that's like the video. Greta was also called a, quote, middle schooler by American media when she was 15 or 16. Right, she would have been in secondary school. Right. It would have been nice if it was someone who would have taken Biden to task for a second, but they explicitly would not have wanted that, so not much you can do. Dizzy, I need a new chair too. This chair came out of, like, just speaking of office chairs, this chair came out of the dumpster, and I've just been sitting in it for a while because my last chair broke, and I really want a different kind of chair, but that's one of the, like, I need it a lot less than I need a bed. The strangest thing he did was making fun of her being in a cold climate and suggesting that she would be cold. He just is a really shitty, dumb person, I think. Is like the TLDR on Andrew Tate. My cat's completely destroyed both of my computer chairs. Can you just have them reupholstered? That'll be good. What is that? Snow. I didn't know that there was a snow one. Do we love how it was like snowing and fucking winter polar vortexing last week? And then this week, is it unseasonably warm anywhere else for you all? I know, America only problems, potentially, but it's like warm now. Cover the chair with a blanket. You don't mind the cats doing the snaggies too? Yeah. Not the money for that. I mean, you can reupholster your own chair. Just go to Joann Fabric. It's like -10. Where are you, NBJ? It's unseasonably cold here in Australia. Okay. Cold as fuck here in the Seattle area. Yeah, in the Midwest, it's like warm. Yeah, it's 60 degrees in Virginia right now. Ohio bounced back to spring. It's cold in North Dakota. Okay, really? I guess it's just like if you're a little bit further north. I decided to go, -10 is unseasonably warm. Oh, okay. Excuse me. It's approximately normal temperatures. East Coast Virginia is really weird with temps this time of year. I can't believe we stayed as cold as we did. Now today it was like 60-something. Back to normal for the season here in Tennessee. -15 here. Oh my god. Wait, -15, you're a Canuck. That's in Celsius, right? So -10. And BJ, are you doing Celsius too? But you're in North Dakota. 6 Celsius in Montreal. 8C where Venusian is. Oh, I was using freedom units. I see. -10 Fahrenheit. I am not super excited about the increasingly severe weather. I mean, I enjoy not having a super snowy winter. Obviously, it's nice to be able to go outside and enjoy the breeze on a nice 50-degree December day. But it means that it's going to be really cold later. And then it also is going to be really, really hot during the fucking summer next year. And I'm not excited about those parts. Australia was flooding just a little bit ago. It only snows during January here, which fucking sucks because number one, no white Christmas. I guess it does get colder in January, so maybe we will still have more polar vortex nonsense. And 2, you still gotta fucking deal with snow. Mersh, there's a similar saying in Kansas. Mersh says there's a joke that people who visit Virginia tell me. If you don't like the climate in Virginia, just wait until the afternoon and it will change. It's basically the same in Kansas. We have the same kind of sayings where it's like, if you don't, if you're in Kansas and you don't like the weather, just wait an hour. Every single year, I am sent updates from one Aussie friend that it is once again flooding. Is it supposed to do it cyclically there, or is that just a new annual thing? Every Midwest state has that saying. True. Ooh. That joke is the attack helicopter of weather jokes. It's true. It is. The flooding happens every so often, but it has been over and over again the last couple years. Global climate catastrophe. Global climate catastrophe. Well, do we have any other news that we want to talk about today? Or any other topics that we want to delve into? I am getting a little bit tired, as per usual. I cannot wait to have a new bed. Oh my god. I'm going to try so hard to get a new bed. I am hoping that, like, my bank will help me finance this bitch. I'm kind of happy to have a decent snow each year in Virginia. It's good to have at least one good snow, you know? We had a decent snow just now. Oh, Grape God, thank you. Grape God says, I want to say one thing before you go. You are the realest, wokest streamer. Thanks. I mean, I'm probably not the wokest streamer, but I appreciate the compliment that I'm the realest for sure. And I certainly am a streamer, so I cannot argue with that part. I'll have a talk with them. Don't worry, Lux. Yeah, let me get those Soros bucks. That's what I need. Baphomet, do you want to share your fursona, or can you share your fursona? Is it did you draw porn? Prager has a new article about how awful leftist adult kids are to their right-wing parents for not visiting during the holidays. I saw that. Yeah. What was that? PragerU. Ungrateful leftist grandkids. Let's see if we can turn it out. His pussy's out in the ref sheet. Oh, for shame. We keep having power outages in the Seattle metro area, and for the first time ever, I'm having to worry if it's sabotaged by terrorists and not just the weather doing shit. I've heard that there might be more ongoing attacks happening. What's up, Davey? I would happily take Soros bucks to just continue to support the causes I already support. Yeah, for sure. I used to write transformation smut for commissions. I made like $300 a month for a while and still didn't realize I was trans. That's not nothing. Oh, speaking of porn and stuff, I have a Fansly where I don't actually post nudes, but if you want to see thirst traps and sexy goth outfits that I don't post anywhere else, you can subscribe to my Fansly. I'm just Luxander over there. I'm not trying to hide shit. Anyway, yeah, why many conservatives won't be with their children. Okay, yeah. Let's zoom in a little bit. No, you cannot know my location. So why many conservatives won't be with their children or grandchildren this Christmas? There are probably hundreds of thousands of men and women who, because of political differences, maintain minimal or no contact with their parents, and even more cruelly, do not allow their parents to have any contact with their children, their parents' grandchildren. You could maybe put a period at the end of that sentence. Anyway. What are Soros bucks? Oh, hey, Caro, we're making a joke about how people think that George Soros, who is a famous Jewish rich man, like, is funding all of us lefties. And it's funny because they're hypocritical because, the people who are accusing us of being funded by George Soros are in fact funded by right-wing think tanks. But anyway, probably an unprecedented number of Americans with grown children will be alone this Christmas because their children will neither visit them nor invite them for the family dinner. In some rare instances of horrific parental behavior, this may be excusable, but when the reason is politics, it is inexcusable. I know of this firsthand. Parent after parent calls my radio show, often close to tears, sometimes actually sobbing, pouring their heart out to me about being alone on holidays despite having children and grandchildren. In virtually every case, the parent is conservative and the child is on the left. I assume there are cases of grown conservative children who won't allow a liberal/left parent to see his or her grandchildren, but I have never heard of a single such case. It is almost impossible to imagine a conservative adult depriving his or her parents of access to their grandchildren because the parents voted for President Joe Biden. I don't know, there's probably someone out there. Moreover, if there were such a person, every conservative I know would vociferously condemn this individual. Why is this happening? Number one, no accountability. Imagine being held accountable for voting against the human rights of people who love you, and people who you're supposed to love. I can't believe you can't agree with me wanting you and all your friends literally dead. True. Is the Discord good? It's not as active as I would like it to be, but I am I think it's regular contact in there. Did you hear that? I don't know if that was I don't know if you could hear that. Anyway, so the further left you go, the less likely you are to believe that you are accountable to an absolute moral code, let alone to a giver of an absolute moral code. On the other hand, conservatives, and certainly religious conservatives, who are people who believe in the God-given 10 Commandments, believe that they are obligated to honor their parents irrespective of such things as political differences. Yeah, it's great how there isn't any commentary about how you need to honor your children and respect your children and not, vote against their political interests. How many people? There's several hundred people in the Discord. I'm not sure. It's 200 or 300 now. Enough that the computer yells at me every time I try to @ everyone. It's are you sure you want to @ everyone? And I'm like, yeah. They really want it to be we can just be shitty to you and you have to take it. Yeah, that's what they always want, of course. So, let's see. While on rare occasions it may be morally necessary, there are few actions meaner than ending all contact with one's parents and depriving them of access to their grandchildren. The weird possessiveness. Can we talk about the weird possessiveness where they're yeah, we are gonna I am owed. I have a right to access the grandchildren that I did not give birth to. But on the left, this is not uncommon and immeasurably more common than on the right. The fact is that leftism often produces mean people. There are decent and indecent liberals and decent and indecent conservatives. It's we have different definitions of what decency means. I think that you can be a very decent person and use the F word, and use the S word. You can curse. But I don't think that, using the N word is decent. And these people would usually not think that that's they would say that's a political excuse to not be family. If your white older family members use racist language, they'd be oh, that's political. You can't cut off the grandkids from that. Morality means weird things to Christians and conservatives. Yeah. And yeah, people don't understand that decency is broken when you vote for someone like Trump. Like you have made yourself indecent by doing that. Leftism breeds ingratitude, victimhood, moral arrogance, and therefore cruelty. The moral arrogance thing is very funny to me. The Democrats' treatment of then Judge Brett Kavanaugh was one of the innumerable examples. The screaming shutdowns of conservative speakers on campuses is another, and cruel treatment of parents is yet another. Blaming college. Millions of young Americans who graduate from college are, morally speaking, worse people than they were when they entered college. Okay, by what barometer? By what measure of morality? Oh, God. True. If I'm going to be spending the faggots with holidays, if I'm going to be spending the holidays with people who call me a faggot, I should at least spend it with people who mean it in a flirting way. True. Education is bad. Of course. It's very persuasive. Yeah, Brian Stevens. Yeah, Kavanaugh was accused of rape, and conservatives were like, no big deal. And if you were mad at him and you were calling him a bad person for the fact that he tried to rape someone, then you're the indecent one. Being a rapist, not indecent, according to the conservatives. Oh yeah, we're also they're gonna attribute this to religion, the inadequacy of the conscience. Let's see. Yes, to cite the present example, the adult children who deprive their conservative parents of contact with the parents' grandchildren have a perfectly clear conscience. All those secular people, including secular conservatives, who argue that God is unnecessary because it is enough for people to answer to their own conscience, are spectacularly naive. The consciences of most people who do evil are blissfully untroubled. Yeah, it's interesting how that works. Most religious people who have done, or at least not resisted evil, also have undisturbed consciences. But to return to our present example, religious people who believe they have to answer to God for their behavior are likely to treat their parents better than those who do not believe so. They believe that God commands them to honor their father and mother. There is no such command on the left. It's so weird. Oh, weird. I guess I'm probably not going to go into it right now, but conservatives claimed that they know who the two men who attacked that woman were. Supposedly, two men came forward, but this was never presented to the American people. Quote, the Senate Judiciary Committee interviewed two men who said they, not Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, attacked Christine Blasey Ford. But that was all. That was like the entirety of the information about it. They never actually came out publicly. Oh gosh. God told me. True. I think Dennis's kids won't let him hang out at Christmas, so he spent the day writing this and trying to figure out Microsoft Word on Windows XP. True. Oh my God. Itchy. It's the cognitive dissonance that pisses me off so much. They can just say whatever the fuck they want and it becomes true. That is the difficult thing about conservatives, is that they don't care about the truth, actually. They care about dominance and control and about maintaining a specific social order. And they want you to conform to it. They're going to try to make you conform to it, you know? Good grief. I really do want to start streaming for longer. I'm hoping that I can try to build up to that point. I like the 5-hour streams. They're nice. I have not had the energy to do much more than like 2 and 3 hour streams for the past several months. And I want to fix that because I feel like it's not enough. I feel like it's too short because I only stream 3 times a week and it just feels too short. His kids probably saw his articles about how he doesn't believe that marital rape is a thing and want it out. No doubt. Both conservatives and woke scolds don't really care about the truth. Yeah, I mean, I do think that woke scolds do have a tendency to continue to believe stupid shit even after it's been demonstrably proven that whatever they're saying isn't true. I feel like 2 or 3 hours is plenty. Really. It just seems like I should go for longer. So I was actually planning on adjusting my sleep schedule. That was one of the things I was really looking forward to when I moved in here, is I want to change my sleep schedule so that have more energy later into the night. But because I don't yet have the ability to install these curtains, which, thank you again, Mersh. I think that you got the curtain rods. So someone sent me the curtains already. I have the little slip that tells me who it was. I always keep those little slips that say, oh, here's the note from somebody who bought you something. But so I have the curtains. I just need the curtain rods, and then I will not be woken up at 8 a.m. every day, ostensibly. The fascist right is full of sociopaths and narcissists. Can't really. I mean, I can disagree on the sociopath thing, but I will not disagree on the narcissism thing. Yes, the curtain rods. They're going to be here like next week. I don't know of anybody who streams for longer than you, but I guess I don't watch many streamers. Like, Demon Mama regularly goes for like 5 hours, and I know that Vosh has done really long, like 7-hour streams. But I guess 2 or 3 hours is pretty normative. And I do other shit besides stream. The wall quilt is cute as fuck. Thank you. It was made for me by my mother-in-law. You know, she spent like 7 years working on it, so it's pretty special. Demon Mama streams go hard on the length. You gotta, like, account for the fact that people cycle in and out. You know, the longer you go, the more people cycle in and out, like the more views you have overall. Sometimes people are only available during this time slot or this time slot. These are just the things that I think about. The logistical things that you got to worry about as a streamer. Can't watch the whole thing. Yeah. Do we want to do a tarot reading before we go? Because I'm ready to wind down, and like, I'm gonna like check how much money I have in the bank, because I would really like to get some Chipotle, but I would also really like to be able to pay my rent when it's due. So last stream before rent is due. I'm gonna be fine as long as I don't spend a bunch of money on Chipotle. I hurt you, but you aren't allowed to take away my ability to hurt you, because that hurts me. They just want access. Yeah, for sure. Two or 3 hours is good to listen to while doing housework or as a wind down before bed. The latest Lily hit piece on breadtubers, including Jess and ZZ, confirmed that she does in fact know she's spewing lies about Vosh and Cat Black and only cares about priming her audience. You have a wish list? I don't see it on the link tree. Oh, yeah, I do have a wish list. A lot of the stuff on it has been purchased, but I have like 3 public wish lists that are associated with this. So I will copy paste this thingy if you're interested in checking out the stuff on my list. Frankly, I think that I want another packet of the vines because I want them to be thicker than they currently are. I think that I want there to be more of them. So I do want another one of those. That Lily Orchard video was bad. I have never really watched any Lily Orchard stuff. I guess maybe I did watch her Why Cora is Bad video. Like, Cora is bad and here's why. But that was a while ago and I really don't remember anything about it. I really have gotten like most of the stuff that I needed in order for this apartment to be functional. So now I'm going to have the curtain rods. I'll be able to finish soundproofing this room. I might need to like acquire some more wall shit, like wall decorations and shit to continue soundproofing this space. I watched her Steven Universe video years ago and shortly after came to strongly disagree with most of it. Yeah, her video is about like why Steven Universe is bad, isn't it? All I know of Lily is Jess and Xena's beef with her. By the way, if you all didn't know, Jess is trying a new name, I think. She posted on Twitter about it, that she's trying a new name, which is Poppy. It's Penelope and Poppy. I don't think I'm publicizing any information she didn't want you to know. She's probably not updating the branding yet, but it was like this week that she made this change. It's, yeah, Poppy, yeah. So. Or is it Penny? I thought it was Poppy. Maybe both. Anyway, I am shuffling some cards right now. I had one last comment on the holiday article earlier. Yeah, what was it? Penne. Thank you, Davey. I appreciate that. I am going to get some Chipotle after this. That sounds delicious. Penny is one specific headmate. Penelope is the name X-Jess is using on the Discord. I see. Poppy is Katie Montgomery's cat, so that name is taken. You can't just take a name for your cat. What's up, Violet Lane? I spent the morning downloading so many Julia Serrano books and essays. Nice. Lily's argument is space fascists bad, while completely ignoring that space war is a metaphor for the harm that conservative community and familial elders do to younger generations who are nonconformists. I will have to check that out at some point. Okay. I have been shuffling the cards. We're winding down the stream. I have the tarot deck. What should we ask about? I don't want to do any readings for any one particular person, especially because I'm an amateur. But what should we ask the cards about today? The diamonds are not just, quote, space fascists. They are bigoted grandmas. I've only watched up through most of the end of season 1 of Steven Universe. Ask next thing to add to the wall. So actually, I have very specific plans for what to do next with the stuff. So first of all, I would like to do, I think I want to get another packet of vines so that I can have that just be a thicker wall. I would just like that better. And then underneath the vines, there's going to be a pillow, which Mersh bought the pillow case. So I just need to get the pillow. We're going to have a body pillow that has like mushrooms on the pillowcase underneath the vines. Okay? And then over here, I'm gonna 3D print some like dragon wall art of some kind. Like, I think that is what I should do. I guess like this area over here is the one place that I'm not 100% sure about. So if you all have any specific recommendations for over here, I would accept them. I was kind of thinking about maybe getting like a you know how they have like wall decor, like those cloth streamers that are like long? I just want to like get one that would work if I put it sideways. Just like one long strip of like, basically because this is cloth. I'm just thinking maybe cloth underneath. I don't know. More soundproofing. I want more cloth and more like shit on the walls. It was just like, sometimes relatives can be horribly tone deaf and not able to read the room, but when there's a serious discussion, not able to read the room when there is a serious discussion going on. I was talking to my mom the other day about how corporal punishment is still legal in schools across most of the country, and it led to me being abused for being autistic, and my dad butted in by saying, when we got spanked in school, there were no mass shootings, like there were no school shootings. Which, number one, read the room, you dumb cunt, not the time or place. 2, it's still legal across most of the country. And 3, why should I be expected to respect you or want to spend time around you if you're going to act like this? Truly, like, what is the point of interacting with you if you're going to behave this way? Will there be a safe fourth state in the US in 2023? Do you mean like, will there be another, are we saying, will there be another sanctuary state? Will gender be abolished in 2023? I think we know the answer to that question. Will there be any good TV next year? That's a good question. Will there be any good movies next year? Stuff like this is why I'm agoraphobic and avoid humans as much as possible. I'm like working through this with my younger brother, where he's like trans and some of our family members are not responsive about the changing pronouns thing. And, you know, I just decided not to have those conversations in the first place because I knew they weren't going to understand, and we just have to deal with this. Will there even be a next year? True. Oh, Davey, thank you. We might have gotten the, Davey says that they got the tapestry off my wish list. So maybe might I just have like, I might just know what's going to go there. That's cool. Seriously, thank you. Will I be replaced by AI next year? True. Okay, I'm running out of steam. I got to do this fucking tarot thing before I get really upset. Let's see. What will we ask about? Explaining to my younger NB Sib that the world has always been evil and that the evil now is just a continuation of many old evils was one of the hardest conversations this year. It's so tough. Like, it's hard to balance being realistic with them versus not wanting them to ruin them, like, and upset them, you know? Like, what can you do to make it better for them and not just make them feel hopeless about the future, right? Like, I don't want my younger sibling to, like, get suicidal because the world doesn't seem very hopeful right now. Thank you, Baphomet. Yeah. I am hoping to be a strong form of support for both him and our younger sister as well. Our Flag Means Death is getting another season next year. Ooh. Okay, why don't we ask about family? Well, let's ask the cards about family. How are we going to deal with our family in the coming year? Or, yeah, like, with our blood families, or how will New Year's go? Yeah, we kind of did a reading about that on Tuesday. I don't want to do too many repeats in the same week. So, yeah, let's ask about how to deal with our family and maybe how to deal with establishing relationships outside of that context. Let's just see what they say. Okay, we're doing a spread of 4. Okay, we're doing a spread of 4. And we're going to see how these all influence each other. I'm not doing a past, present, and future on this one. We're not going to do past, present, and future. If I'd had literally even a single trans friend growing up, my life would have gone a much better way up to now. You make a difference for your brother, believe me. I hope so. I sincerely hope so. My grandparents didn't call me and my sister for Christmas. It's been a while since we last spoke, like maybe a couple months ago. I think a lot of people have been spending a lot more time away from family and alone this winter. So we're doing a 4-card spread. We're just going to see how these cards like influence each other. Talking about how we're going to deal with family this coming year. Okay, so the first card that we have is the Chariot. Art is very cool on this. So we have the Chariot, and it's in the upright position. So let's see what that says. I don't know. I'm partially using this as a way for me to learn my own deck because I don't know these cards. Like, I don't know tarot cards. So the Chariot is a card of steady progression and clear goals. It represents healthy motivation, willpower, and practical application of wisdom. The Chariot represents certainty. There is a definitive sense of direction that propels the journey. Challenges are considered, addressed, and overcome. The black and white cats indicate duality, and they look in 2 different directions. The Chariot has no reins and is propelled by force of will. So this card has to do with certainty, steady progression, and clear goals. It's 4 cards. So, no, Nuvenal, the last couple times I've been doing past, present, and future, the 4th card represents the person asking the question. The next card that we have is the Sun, which looks like this. We had a lot of major arcana. Actually, we had 3 out of 4 major arcana this drawing, which is interesting. Where am I? I'm trying to find the Sun. Okay, so the Sun indicates a moment of sudden illumination. Truths are plainly observable, and there is joy and relief. The Sun brings warmth and the potential for growth as new patterns and habits are cultivated. This is a time to acknowledge and celebrate what makes you brilliant. Okay. Truths are plainly observable, and there is joy and relief. The Sun brings warmth. Okay, and the potential for growth as new patterns and habits are cultivated. So this could indicate rejuvenation in our existing relationships, and it could also indicate that we're going to make new relationships. That's pretty cool. So, but we're going to read all of these cards kind of like flowing together, right? So the next card is Death, which looks like this. And it was upright. So all 3 of these cards were upright so far, with 3 major arcanas, the Chariot, the Sun, and Death. Death is not an ill omen, to be clear. When Death is upright, the card portends change. Nyx holds her child Thanatos, gently beckoning souls into the next life. Though it may initially read as a bad omen, Death simply refers to cycles of change in a broader sense. When an era comes to a close, a new one springs up at its heels. The figure of Death in this case signifies satisfactory closure and completion. So we're going to have change, transformation. Solution is to be all mages and teleport away. Oh my god, true. So, the Chariot is about steadfast certainty and moving forward with clarity in your goals. The Sun is about... Oh god, what was she about? Where did she go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Okay, the Sun was about joy and relief. New patterns and habits are cultivated. So that, they're both kind of about change. The Sun and Death in this reading kind of tie together and have to do with change. And then the last card is the Ace of Chalices, which looks like this. I mean, it looks like this when it's upright. I guess I'll show it to you that way. But she came up upside down. She were upside down. Death doesn't necessarily mean death, literally. I'm getting very positive vibes from these cards as well. So, cups, chalices. Where is it? Ace of Chalices. Chalice has to do with emotional well-being. So, the Ace of Chalices... In the reverse position, the Ace of Chalices indicates an imbalance of emotion. You are either utterly overwhelmed or deeply repressing your feelings. The card encourages an examination of unaddressed feelings in times of emotional tumult. I mean, kind of the vibe that I'm getting from these cards is that, the fact that we're reflecting on family here, kind of the vibe that I'm getting from these cards is that we're going to experience some emotional difficulties with our families. And as a result, we're going to have to make some clear decisions about how we're going to be in those relationships moving forward in a way that prioritizes our own well-being. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting off of these cards. Like whether it's cutting people out, whether it's death in the final sense of like these relationships need to no longer be in your life, or if it's just that you need to embrace change and establish boundaries. I think that's going to be what 2023 brings for us in terms of dealing with our family. Cups is our favorite minor arcana. Yeah, I don't know that I have developed favorites yet. I think that so far I like coins. Like coins is associated with the element of earth, and it is it's about the material, like the material things going on in your life. So I think that maybe my favorite minor arcana is coins, but I'm looking forward to continuing to develop a familiarity with the deck, because I've been having fun doing these little readings. I do them on my personal time and on stream. This is my first one today, though. I haven't really done it a lot today. Just get these cards shuffled back in a little bit. Change in society, perhaps? Acceptance? This sounds like others are going to start changing their views or beliefs, maybe. I am actually enjoying the riffing. I feel like I've done a pretty good job every reading that I've done at extrapolating some kind of cohesive message from the cards. Which, like, you know, maybe I'll do tarot readings. Maybe I'll start selling tarot readings. I don't fucking know. Maybe I'll have to do a set on Fansly where I'm being very witchy, and maybe I will have additional sales of some kind for tarot readings. Can you do tarot readings on Fansly? Probably, right? Trans tarot. True. There should be a card added that just says dicks. What would dicks mean? Dicks in the upright position means you need to get laid. It's all about the translation. Yeah, I think that really is what it is. I bet there's an Oracle deck somewhere that has a card like that. Probably. Trend for Tarot, new T for T just dropped. I really need dicks in the face down position, personally. Listen, I've been in a relationship for a long time, and we also lived together for a long time, and now we don't. And it's real weird. And like the lack of physical intimacy is definitely going to be, you know, it's interesting because in one way it's like easier to deal with lack of intimacy if you're physically apart than it is to deal with lack of intimacy when you're sharing space, you know? Because when you're sharing space, it feels personal. Like, why aren't you interested? Like, why are we not doing this thing as often as I want to do it? And it still feels personal, even though I know that he's just functionally like asexual fucking 70% of the time or whatever it is. Dick upright means life is about to get really hard. True. Dix is the Ace of Swords. I mean, that's fair. Jimsy's been feeling a calling to hit the open road and not stop until I find peace. I don't think you'll find it that way. You should pay the quarry? Wait, what? It gives a good impression of how to think about tarot after the reading. I'd like some clarity as to what my gender really is and why sometimes I dissociate trying to figure it out. I'm okay, it's just something I need to unpack. That definitely sounds like a therapy thing. I can't handle a lack of dictimacy. I know. It's fine. Oh, I should play The Quarry. Is that's a game? The Quarry? It's a cinematic horror game where you control the fates of 9 camp counselors. Is that the one that you're talking about? I don't really like to do horror stuff. I honestly think that watching horror movies recently helped like reignite my PTSD symptoms. Very irritating. Penis fulfillment. True. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna honor the sacrifice that was made by, wasn't it Davey, who got me like, who sent me some money for Chipotle, because I am prepared to eat some fucking Chipotle. Like, I'm pretty excited about eating the Chipotle, so I'm gonna go do that. According to a lot of tarot readers, you manifest the energy that you put out to the universe. Try to be positive within and without so that you will manifest the positive changes you seek from the Chariot and the Sun. True. All right. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I hope that you like the continual updates and changes that we're going to happen, that are going to continue happening around here. And I hope that you have a happy new year. I hope that your New Year's evening is good. And I will see you all on Tuesday, if all goes well. That's the plan. Okay. Good night. Sleep tight. No bed bugs.